I'm a silly.
You're a silly what?
I'm a silly idiot.
Okay. That's a great starting line. So consider ourselves now on the pod.
Yeah.
That's, I
Yep.
always look for like a spicy little nugget to get us going. And I think that's our end today.
Spicy McNugget. It's funny that in order for me to get you to say like weird shit, I have to like create it with AI, but you just have it.
Exactly. And that sort of efficiency I think is really appreciated on my end. So thank you.
You're welcome. Plenty more to come.
Yeah, welcome.
I actually don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to do something, but I don't know what it is.
As in you were in the middle of a task and now you've forgotten what the task is?
But I think the task is done.
Have you clicked record?
Yeah.
And the mics are on?
Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. I got it back. Just let me... That felt like very sexual.
It was.
I felt like I was putting your head down in my lap. just
For
just
the
for the
context
listener,
of the
I,
listener.
Yeah, I put my laptop screen down, but Nick's face was all over the screen, so it did feel like I was
Sort of pushing.
You get it.
Yeah. And I've got a
get it.
view
They get it.
just purely of his crotch now as well. So it's all
Do you? Oh, no, you don't.
coherent.
Yeah, it's lucky you. All right, we're ready to fuck this puppy. You remember that?
I
that
do
was our
remember
thing?
that. And I remember being very happy when it stopped being said.
Oh, we had very different ideas about that.
The tone of the podcast to begin with. It's
Yeah.
not the kind of starting sentence that really gets me like enthusiastic. It's never fun to start a podcast feeling instant cringe and regret.
Cringe. I think it's a good saying.
As in,
I
you
get it.
physically cringe, as in like wince away from a thing. Can I tell you, this
okay.
is very insular and inside baseball. But currently at the moment, we are doing some casting for the video game, and they're reading scripts that I've written. And I have listened to maybe 25 different people give them a read, and you try and find the voice that suits. And there was one line that I'd written where someone says, "Oh, I just about had a conniption," and
Conniption.
had a little freak out, a tantrum, a heart attack, right? It's a slightly uncommon word, but it's oldie timey, and clearly not everyone knows it, as you've just demonstrated. But I was listening to one of the takes, and someone had said, "I just about had a connopition." And the way that my body physically cringed, like recoiled at the misdelivery, was the same equivalent feeling I had when you said, "Let's fuck this puppy," as a as a starting point, which is just that my body wants to leave the room.
One of those is very intentional and creative and kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's not often that you come up with like a great saying.
Great by what metric though? Like shock
like-
value.
You don't need to know what it means in order to know what it means.
I think you do have some questions about what it means.
I
think if someone said, "Let's fuck this puppy,"
actually.
I don't think everyone's going to be like, "I get you."
No. You do though. You do. You know what it means, but it's one of those great sayings that if you break it down, it doesn't make sense or it doesn't mean the thing that you mean, but just because of the way you say it, everyone knows, everyone gets it.
I think
it's like Nick
you're
Cage from Gone in 60 Seconds. Okay, let's ride. You know what that means.
Well,
it
that's
means
because
get in the
it's
car.
Gone in 60 Seconds is physically about cars.
Exactly.
Like that's not the same thing. I think
the
you're
same
treading on the
thing.
toes here of other famous animal fucking sayings, right? Most notably, "I'm not here to fuck spiders," right? I
Right.
don't think that your suggested "let's get this show on the road" kind of equivalent has that connotation that you think it does.
No, it does, and I am here to
Okay,
fuck
well,
spiders.
sorry. Now that you've said that, I forced to agree with you.
Yeah, I'll fuck anything. Bleep that.
Bleep that. How you doing, man? Speaking of fucking
Son-
puppies,
hey,
how's
hey,
Pepsi?
son, buddy.
Oh,
Yeah.
we both went for two different. But
Wait.
both valid
What did you
segues.
just say? What did you just say?
I said-
about my dog,
Speaking of fucking puppies, how's Pepsi?
Nick. She is 3 months old.
Uh huh.
Okay. I got to wait till at least 6 months till she's a
This is
mature
a fucking.
woman.
This is a grim start, I have to say.
It's a hard start for a Sunday afternoon.
This is a tough.
It really is.
This is a tough hang, and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's
intense.
How's life 2 weeks in with a newborn?
Yeah, she's good. She's really starting to warm up to us now. Like she's like almost more like almost needy now.
Yeah.
Like desperate.
Yeah. And so you're starting to feel a little bit repulsed, like, oh, okay, get off it, you know.
Well, I'm at the point now where she'd like want to sit up on my lap all the time while I'm working from home. And then after like 20 minutes, I'm like, oh, just get
That's
off.
enough.
Like it's not practical. So I'm already the puppy phase, well, the honeymoon phase is over.
The puppy moon phase.
The puppy moon.
Oh gosh, you know they say that puppies are not just for Christmas, and you didn't even make it to December, so yeah, rough roads
What?
ahead.
I didn't follow that, but I don't really.
Puppies are not just for Christmas. Have you
can't
never
imagine-
heard this thing?
I guess so.
It's one of those, I guess RSPCA kind of slogans where, family will give a kid puppies because they really want one, and it's the Christmas present and exciting, and then it gets a month in and they're like, oh, that's not actually a responsibility we want, or the puppy's more hassle than we thought. So, hey, RSPCA, come take this dog away from us. So they put out this kind of PSA, like puppies are not just for Christmas. This is a lifetime commitment you've made.
That rings a bell. I can't imagine like a puppy as a present for Christmas is a weird idea to me.
I agree. Unless you all know that you want it, and that's just the excuse you're giving. You've saved up some money towards that end of the year. Fair enough. But as like a surprise gift, nah.
Yeah, and then you have to like put it in a box and wrap it up and just leave it like for
like 18 hours.
Hours, to keep up with the Santa Claus ruse, and then maybe it's dead.
Did you ever get Sandy Claus on some of your presents growing up?
I have no idea what that is.
Sandy Claus. It was like a fun little pun name. This present's not from Father Christmas. It's from Sandy Claus, and it was like.
Is that just your family thing?
No, I feel like maybe. I feel like, hey, write in if this means anything to you, Sandy Claus.
Write in. Speaking of writing in, did we get anyone writing in about that what was it, the dental legal pun?
Yeah, let me just check this here.
Because that really just.
Oh no, nothing. Absolutely fuck all.
Fuck you. I'm talking to the listener. Fuck you.
This is a very aggressive.
Why are you
start.
engaged?
That's a very aggressive.
Who are we doing this for? Honestly.
Welcome to Deep Thought, everybody. Let's just get out of whatever zone this is and into the next. This is a podcast which generally is like a kind of nice hang and not so in your face, but that's the dice that we rolled today. Sitting through the internet with me this week, my friend Michael. Hello.
Whatever.
Okay. And I'm Nick. This is my name and my voice. Again, that voice belongs to Nick. I want to say a little something up top here, if you wouldn't mind. This week, long-time listener, first-time caller, Sean, and his lovely wife, Chloe, had 2 babies. They had twins. They have arrived safe and sound. They've had a lovely, tiring, intensive, exciting week. But our friend Sean now has twins. And
Congrats,
we want to
Sean.
send our deep 40 love and support. Of course, Sean, the talented artist who did our album art.
Yes. Wait.
Much love.
He did the cover art.
He did the cover. If you open your podcast right now, this is Sean's work you're looking at.
Well, congrats, Sean and
Chloe.
What are the names of the children? What did they go with?
They went with Oscar and Rowan.
Oscar's very big. Oscar's
Is it
very
big
big
right
right
now?
now.
Oh.
It is. I was talking to someone yesterday who just had a kid, and when you know it, Oscar.
Oscar. I think Rowan's
Yeah.
Rowan's on trend as well.
Don't love Rowan. No offense.
Okay.
Maybe I like.
Maybe
a
there's still time to
Rohan.
change.
Don't mess with the Rowan.
What about Zohan? I was going to say.
Yeah.
What about Zohan?
No, but that's fine. I mean, it's their choice.
I don't think that you're allowed to be
Not,
so outwardly dismissive.
it's not too late.
Okay, you're just angling for him to be named Michael.
Well, I got to take an angle.
Okay, sure. And it's not just loving support.
It's too obvious.
Fair enough. I think you'd be
Also,
disappointed if you were.
I've never met Sean.
Well, okay.
I've just had this weird sassy energy with this guy that I've never met, which I love.
Uh-huh.
But we've just right from the get go, we just messaged each other he just messaged me with like sass.
Okay.
And I was like, I love this.
So you think that this is something he's brought on himself?
I guess so.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
you've there've been rumors of you coming to New Zealand this year. Maybe the opportunity will come to sass him back in person.
I'd love to sass right in his face, IRL. No, actually, that's too. Chloe, I don't want to rope Chloe into this.
That's fair, I think.
Leave Chloe out of it.
This is what you've always said.
Now, congrats, my guys, my fans.
Such a piece of shit.
I know. I'm in some kind of mood.
Oh, good. What have you been up to?
Well,
Sun buddies?
sun buddies. Get this.
Somebody once told me.
Oh, it's right there.
It's right there.
Right there. Get this, listener. Nick and I scheduled for 2 p.m. on a Sunday. Nick sends me a message
4 p.m.
saying
New
at
Zealand.
1:30, just going out for a walk in the sun. And I said, get this. You're never going to believe it. I'm walking in the sun right now.
Everybody's walking in the sun. They're just right there. This is right there.
Why do you know so many 90s?
This is going to shock you.
Shrek
I was
soundtrack
born.
songs?
I was born before that era, so I sort of grew up with them.
Bjorn.
Bjorn.
I don't know what that was. What else? All right, so I got some. I got some.
What else?
I got some. All right, I got some. I got some Pepsi stuff. Right.
Okay.
Oh, that's my dog's name.
Yes.
So she's really starting to.
Can I ask a question before you get into it? Because I feel like this is still hanging over this. What has the general reception been to the name Pepsi? Now that it's out in the world, now that your family's heard it, now that, you're telling your boss, you're telling the clerk at the supermarket. What's the general vibe been?
I don't think people love it. I got a lot of lukewarm responses.
Okay.
People, did I tell you when we picked her up, the breeder was like, do you have a name picked out yet? And we were like, yeah, Pepsi. And she was like, oh, okay. But it's kind of been that, like my mum had the same thing. Like people don't find it fun, which I think it's quite fun. It's also quite, I think it's a great name. But yeah,
I will give it
not been
credit that
overwhelming.
I do think it is a fun name. I'll give it credit. I think it's fun.
Just remove it from the product.
Yeah.
Pepsi is a good name for a dog. It's a good sound for a dog.
It's a good dog sound. I 100% agree with it.
Well,
I just think the connotations.
What are the connotations?
I don't know, that you're a bit of a corporate shill. That, in
That's-
this era of like anti-capitalist movements working to dismantle this sort of patriarchal society that's been pushing us all into the dirt, that you've sided with this kind of evil conglomerate destroying natural water reserves, fighting this kind of sugar diabetes kind of battle, and you've chosen to sully a beautiful young life with a name that will only ever be seen with criticism and disgust.
Yeah, it's a bit. It's a silent fuck you to the woke mind virus, Nick.
This is an anti-snowflake name.
Fucking left, the loony left, with their climate change bullshit.
Yeah, you believe in
I'm
climate change? I named my dog after a drink.
Proud capitalist here. I was thinking about BP as well, but it just didn't quite fit.
It's harder to say.
Yeah. What does the B in that stand for?
British.
All right. So she's developing a bit of a personality, right? So she's obsessed with her own reflection, which is very fun. But also, if you think about it, it might be sad because she thinks it's like her brothers or sisters.
How does a dog see a reflection? Do you have like a ground height mirror, or is she just looking into ponds?
Yeah, we have a mirror out in the the main kind of area just because yeah, Lauren uses it to get ready sometimes, and then the
When
windows
she's lying on the ground.
the window, no, it's like a tall thing.
Sure.
And the windows on the, we've got windows on the all around on the bottom, and so she can see a reflection in there sometimes. So that's fun, and she hates Meg Ryan, which is interesting, which is kind of a cool personality trait. We were watching When Harry Met Sally the other night, and every time, like when she sits with us, when she knows we're sitting down to watch a movie or something, she's like, "Oh, we're relaxing, cool. I'm just going to go to bed right now." And will fall asleep instantly. But she stayed up with this whole movie, and I kid you not, every time Meg Ryan came on screen, she started barking.
Oh. I wonder, maybe she's just like an anti-romantic as well. Like she doesn't believe in the sort of concept of true love.
Yeah, that's an interesting. I hadn't thought about it like that. Yeah, maybe she's like, get out of there, girl. He's bad
like
for you.
You can do better.
You know? Yeah, I actually thought it'd be an interesting idea if we could create a YouTube channel, and it's just like Pepsi. We film Pepsi watching Meg Ryan movies, and every time she barks, we like write like movie criticism, but like well written stuff.
Yeah,
like she's giving a serious critique.
I mean, I think
Don't know
you've
how you get
dated
over
yourself.
the copyright.
I think you've dated yourself because I think that's definitely a TikTok. That's not a YouTube channel these days.
Nick, just because I come up with a good idea doesn't mean you just be like, oh no, it's been done. Okay, sometimes I have good ideas that are original.
Words at all. I said that you should do it on TikTok because YouTube, you don't want to be doing those kind of short, zippy little criticism reels on a YouTube platform. This is great TikTok content.
I really showed my hand there, didn't I?
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
You teed yourself up. You're like, oh, he's gonna fucking hate this.
I really did.
I'm going to aggressively respond before I've internalized the words he said.
Yeah. And, you asked me last week, you said, are we going to be people who let the dog sleep in the bed? And I said no. Well, that lasted one night. So now she lets me sleep in the bed. She gives me permission.
Okay.
But there's this, I got just a little bit, tiny little bit of a nugget here. I've been noticing in myself that I've been doing these weird things, right? So I want her to, kind of think of me as an alpha, right? Which is already off the bat very pathetic. But they need an alpha, and I want it to be me, because if it's not me, I'm going to feel very inferior. Okay. But I'm doing these weird things in all earnest, and the way I'm trying to show her that I am the alpha is like this weird, like 1960s kind of stuff, like stuff that does not make sense. Like I left the door open. I kid you not. I left the door open the other day so she could watch me shave. I was like, oh, she watches in my head. I was like, if she watches me shave, that will she'll be like, oh, he's the boss. It doesn't make sense. I get this.
What the fuck does that mean?
I know it does. It doesn't make sense, Nick. But I went in the shower the other day, and Lauren went to close the door so she doesn't get in. And I said, no, leave it open. And Lauren was like, why? And I said, I think it's good. I think it's good for her to see my penis. And Lauren was like, why? And then we just stood there with that weird sentence hanging in the air. I'm like, why does she need to see my penis? She doesn't. But yeah, I've just been doing weird things like that.
Have you had any success? Do you feel like she's treating you differently? Do you feel like there's a bit of dominance there now that you've earned a bit of respect from her part?
I do not.
Oh, well,
I think, and more than that, I think I've lost respect from Lauren.
So not only have you not gained dog respect, you've actually net decreased the overall household respect for you.
That's correct.
Okay.
It's not been a good week, but yeah.
Gosh.
Good times. Good times.
Not to go off on a tangent prematurely, but is that all your Pepsi stuff? Because you've teed me up here for a nice talk about alphas.
What's this, Nick?
He's reeling up a fishing rod to go fly fishing, and
This
I'm
is a
about
bad baseball player impression.
to. This is someone who doesn't know how to throw a ball.
It's that time. Time for science news.
So Ben sent through an article here because we had talked about the idea of alphas. And this is an article in the New Yorker from last year called The Myth of the Alpha Wolf. The model of aggression and dominance has infected human society, but new research shows how wrong we get it. This is a long article. I'll put the link in the chapter here, so I'm not going to read it all. But I'm just going to give a little bit of a history here about the concept of the alpha and the alpha wolf and how that's evolved off an incorrect assumption. In 1958, as part of a research project on wolves, David Meck, a graduate student, was flying over Isle Royale National Park on Lake Superior. From above, he saw a wolf pack capture and kill a moose. This was rare. More than 9 times out of 10, he'd witnessed the wolf's prey escape. I wanted to see how old this moose was and see if it was ill. He had the pilot drop him off some distance away and snowshoed in. I remember arriving to the edge of this clearing and there were these 15 wolves feeding on this moose, he said. He didn't know how the wolves would react when they saw him. Long ago, when I started, we knew very little about wolves in the wild. We knew that they lived in packs, that they preyed on large animals, and that they howled, and the standard things from storybooks. Upon spotting him, the wolves ran off, leaving behind the moose carcass. They could have attacked me, he said. They could have had something more to eat. The wolf, as he later described it in print, is one of the wildest and shyest of all the animals in the northern wilderness. In 1970, Meck published The Wolf, The Ecology and Behavior of an Endangered Species. The book assembled an enormous amount of research on wolves, covering aspects including wolf habits, society, the relations of the wolf to the prey, to non-prey, to disease, and to humans. The book became a bestseller and a foundational text, one that was read both by scientists and by lay people. In time, however, Meck became less than pleased with the book's ongoing success. That was what we knew at the time, but I'd say we've learned more about wolves since that book's publication than we had in all of previous history, he said to the journalist. The book remained in print even though Meck asked many times that it no longer be published. What bothers him most is the section he wrote on pack order. Meck had relied on research done on captive wolves. The main study at the time was by a guy called Schenkel. It was logical to pick up Schenkel's work, he said, which laid out the terms lead wolf and bitch wolf, the antecedents of alpha male and alpha female. Schenkel wrote
awesome.
Say again?
Bitch wolf is awesome as a term.
It is a great name. Schenkel wrote, every mature wolf has an ever-ready expansion power, a tendency to widen not his personal territory, but rather his own social behavioral freedom. He added, the maintenance of a not quite classless status requires constant self-assertion. Schenkel also believed that wolves needed an outlet for aggressive energy, typically released at the weakest individuals of the society. It turned out that all that stuff was mostly wrong, Meck said. In 2022, his publisher finally agreed to stop printing the book. Yet although field biologists no longer use the terms alpha and beta, they have proved too useful for humans to drop, and now we use them in relation to our own groupings and conflicts. So that's the intro to this long article. I do think it's a really interesting, really digestible read. So yeah, click that link in the chapter title. But Michael,
what's the crux of what does this mean? That doesn't mean that alpha and things don't exist.
Does. It does in the sense that phrasing, that idea, that construction of how wolf society began, that idea of alpha and beta came from these wolf studies, right? But it was flawed analysis. It was not reproduced. Our understanding of how wolves structure their societies has grown immensely since that time. And yet that misconception has now infected our own understandings of these kind of
But
dominance.
what about like gorillas and chimps and stuff? You can see it clearly that, in Chimp Empire, that doco is like, you can see that they're vying for the alpha position. But is what this article is saying, that it's less about being at the top of the pack and more about just expanding. Like, I want to fuck everyone and I want to have first dibs on the food.
Yeah, I mean the way that the people who study the Wolf Society now tend to frame things is as families, and it began to make more sense in general to think of the heads of the packs as the breeders or the parents. So different wolf
Okay.
populations have different packs of different sizes, but the basic structure is the same: a mum, a dad, and their offspring. Sometimes the young go out to find a mate of their own, start their own pack. Sometimes they stick around and help raise the next set of pups. The wolves generally in the dominant positions are not there because they fought for it. It's not a battle to get to the top position. They're just the oldest or the parents, or in the case of same-sex siblings, a matter of personality. So the framing of which societies are structured around that is not so much about aggression or about, trying to usurp a throne, so much as it is just a hierarchy of age and parenthood.
Okay.
So I don't know the ways that this has been explored in, for instance, chimps or gorillas, but it seems plausible to me that that could also apply there, that it's more about the age and the parenting rather than it is a dominance game. But I don't know that.
Okay. I guess it's just easy to just people like to put things into little boxes.
Absolutely.
It's just easier to understand.
It was an appealing concept, right, as well. Like, you can understand a simplicity. There's a. I think it's interesting when we look at the evolution of anthropology and of scientific study, the ways that beliefs of different eras tend to reflect the beliefs of us humans as a society at that time. You know, there is a little bit of a
Yeah.
this is a mixed metaphor, but if all you've got is a hammer, then everything looks like a nail, kind of thing, right? You can't help but interpret the world around you based on the upbringing you have or the society you're living in. And I wonder whether some of these old, psychological concepts come as a result of the kind of humans that we were then, or the kind of society that we were then.
Yeah. You get hunter gatherer stuff is like that comes up as well.
Do you have any take on the alpha, beta, now there's sigmas and all these kind of things when it comes to the human thing? Do you think there's any merit in trying to self-describe oneself or describing others in those kind of labels?
No, because I mean it's funny. The types of the types of men especially that would describe themselves as alpha, it's comical and it's also useless. And what they're really saying there is that they, within their friendship circle or when they go to a club, they can pull chicks. Like it's got a negative connotation now, if anything, like an alpha personality trait. I don't know. It just means like if you're someone, I guess people describe themselves as betas now, I don't know, someone who's into like tech or something, or, is gay and does a podcast and writes screenplays or whatever. For example, but like that just means what? That means someone who's a beta is just someone who isn't arrogant. It's useless. It's useless.
Do you think you could name all of the different personality types?
Wait, is this different to the alpha
No,
beta
as in,
thing?
so alpha beta, but like, so I'm looking here, there's 7 male personality types now, apparently. Do you have any sense of what they are?
There's Sigma, which is what I am.
Okay.
Thank you.
What's Sigma in your definition?
Oh, just like a lone wolf baby, like doesn't even adhere to the alpha beta. It doesn't adhere to it. Wouldn't describe themselves as a Sigma, which I just did actually.
So a Sigma male apparently is a confident mentor who plays by their own rules. They have all the confidence of alphas, but aren't interested in power or social status. They have enough life experience to follow their own moral compass and spend their time helping other people discover their inner power. Sigma
100%.
men's natural wit, intuition, and sense of persuasion earn them the respect of their peers, but they're comfortable in themselves not to need it.
Yeah, it just sounds like my LinkedIn bio.
Do you know what? Do you know what the popular Sigma male characters are?
Characters.
Yeah, so in popular media.
Popular media. Sorry.
Do Sigma males make fun of other people for their expression?
Let me think. Maybe like an Edward Norton from Fight Club. No, he's a beta. He's a beta. I don't know. Tell me.
Ferris Bueller from Ferris Bueller's
Hell
Day Off.
yes. That's awesome. That is awesome.
Gandalf from Lord of the Rings. It is
Okay.
wild to describe Gandalf in this frame. Oh, Gandalf? Yeah, that classic Sigma male. Hawkeye from MASH, a reference none of us are old enough to understand. Let me rattle through the other ones since I got them up here. This is on
Yeah, that's
WikiHow,
good.
and
This is
the hand drawn imagery that accompanies this on WikiHow is quite delightful. So again, click the chapter title. You can come have a read for yourself. Alpha male. This is where we start. Alpha males are strong-willed leaders who love to take charge. Anecdotally, alpha males are, air quotes, the bad boy of the male ecosystem.
Oh, shit, dude.
Yes.
All alphas ride motorcycles.
Yeah, they know what they want, never back down from a fight, and aren't afraid of making waves to obtain their goals. Examples of
ladies.
alpha males in popular culture. Any ideas, Mike?
Yeah. Anything with Denzel Washington.
It's probably a good call. Yep. William Wallace from Braveheart, Maverick from Top Gun, Leonidas from 300.
I could come up with such.
That's a lot of.
That's a
movie
stupid
characters.
list. They just went with like, they're all the same character. Oh, the ultimate alpha.
That's kind
Jesus.
of the whole point of a personality type. Beta male, extremely kind and down to earth, shyer, more reserved. They value personal relationships over material worth or career achievements. Popular beta males: Sam from Game of Thrones, Phil from Modern Family, Ben from Parks and Rec. Some great heroes of mine.
Phil from Modern.
Phil Dunphy, yeah.
Who wrote this list?
Gamma male. Michael, what's a gamma male?
Gamma. No, that didn't even work. Sometimes when I repeat a word for like 10 times,
Yeah.
I work it out. But
Well, you
I
didn't say it 10 times. Do you think you should say it a few more and see if that helps?
I think that's good audio. Yeah.
Great. Gamma males are the life of the party. This is consider yourself through this lens. Equally
Could be a
creative,
Sigma Gamma, yeah.
equally creative and
Siggy Gam.
adventurous. Often portrayed as fun-loving men of culture. They love to travel. They believe their purpose in life is to have fun, rich, fulfilling experiences in exotic locations.
Okay.
Loud and
Okay.
bombastic. They're constantly on the move and can create powerful friendships wherever they go. Careers they excel at: actor, event coordinator, pilot, travel agent.
What?
Just think Joey from Friends, Tom from Parks and Rec, Gatsby from The Great Gatsby.
Gatsby from,
From the titular book. What's a Delta male?
Delta.
Theoretically,
Delta.
this might get a little... yeah, say it 10 more times. It might get a little easier because we're starting to exclude certain archetypes as we go along, right? Like we've ruled out 4 now, so where could we be heading here?
Delta. Maybe like a lonely school shooter or something.
Okay, it's not listed that as one of the ideal jobs here. Delta males are responsible and keep the world moving.
It's a hobby.
Highly
Typically, it's a hobby.
adaptable, they're known for their competence, work ethic, rather than leadership and ambition. They love learning new skills for the sake of improving themselves, not for power or extrinsic successes. They have a healthy work-life balance, dependable and unpretentious. Careers they excel at: accountant, dentist, engineer, firefighter. Just think Jim from The Office.
First of all, I disagree with that.
I think I disagree with that too.
That's ridiculous. This list is too generous, okay? Because a lot of these types, people will dissociate first negative connotations, but this list is trying to get views. It's trying to get people to it's saying nothing bad about anyone.
I will say that the last paragraph here, which I have been overlooking, is the suggested approach. The downsides and how to improve them. So, for instance, in alpha, it says, if you're an alpha male, your will and confidence are admirable. Just get comfortable listening to others and compromising every now and then. So it's telling you little ways to avoid those shortcomings.
Right.
For a beta, it says, be cautious of people taking advantage of you, and don't be afraid to stand up for yourself. So it's given you a little bit of like an insight.
This reminded me the other day. Laura was looking at something on my. She's like, I don't have my phone. Can I just Google something? And the recent searches came up, and there's nothing bad on there. But she was like, "Why did you search type A personality?"
Yeah. Did you tell her why?
Yeah, I had to. But it was interesting because it's not bad, but it's like, why were you looking at, like, why?
Well, isn't that because
Oh,
I used the term and you specifically Googled it after I mentioned it?
When?
Like a week ago. I'm pretty sure that was off the back of us talking about being a type A.
Oh, fuck. Well, in that case, I just scored a massive own goal. and I said, because he's type A, very much so. And I said, yeah, I just wanted to see what the characteristics were, because I think you're a type A personality. It must have been after a fight or something. I don't know. But then we were looking up other types, like that kind of personality things.
Yeah.
And all these things that it's the same as this bullshit. It's the same as the Myers-Briggs stuff. It's horoscopes.
Yeah.
It's It's like just people just trying to attach themselves. And it's ridiculous, but it's so tempting as well. Like I'm a sucker for it too.
Yeah. I will quickly say the other ones because we talked about 7, and I feel like people would be left on a cliffhanger if we didn't list the others at least. A Zeta male is a one-of-a-kind progressive. This is there's a reason that Zeta male is one of the least talked about personality types in pop culture. They're rare nonconformists who don't care what other people think. Actor, artist, musician, writer.
Okay, so I'm a Sigma, Gamma, Alpha, Zeta.
I do see a little bit of an overlap. So the imagery here of a Sigma is someone perhaps that's not necessarily like creative, but like self-satisfied. So the Sigma is described as an entrepreneur, a philosopher, a professor, or a therapist. Someone who's like enough confidence in themselves to help others. Whereas a Zeta male is described as the actor, artist, musician, writer, like someone whose creative output is sort of pushing outwards. And then the last one, Omega male, a skilled introvert that doesn't need external validation. The shyer, more reserved yin to the Zeta male's yang. Independent, comfortable in their own company. They'd rather spend time coming up with brilliant new ideas and inventions of their own instead of socializing with others. Chemist, composer, inventor, mathematician. Just think Dexter from Dexter's Laboratory, which is a great touchdown. Anyway, so all of that
It's all bullshit.
is to say that there is no such thing as an alpha wolf. And if you want to describe yourself as a alpha male, then you might as well just pick a horoscope.
Yeah. Maybe, yeah.
Michael, did you have anything more substantive? Because I also could vaguely spend a few minutes talking about the Olympics if you had any interest or...
What do you want to talk about the Olympics?
Well, I just wondered if there was any discussion there, like whether you've been watching, how you feel about like the nationalism, whether you care about sports side of it, and maybe then touch on some of the like little pop culture-y bits, like the meme moments.
Yeah. I got some thoughts on the Olympics. They're really boring, and I hate the Olympics.
Okay.
I really hate it, and I hate this time. I hate this time where everyone's talking about the Olympics or pretending to care about fucking like a running race. Grow up. Your whole people think of these athletes like they're Greek gods. Like you're devoting your whole life to running the fastest over a short length. It's childish. It's silliness. And why are we worshipping these people? It's disgusting.
I didn't even feel like I'd really even got into the setup of the question. I just discussed the possibility of talking about the Olympics and was about to sort of lead into it, but it didn't even matter because you had one in the chamber ready to go. I guess we'll just treat that as the transition to talking about the Olympics. But yeah, I guess you had something there to get off the chest.
Yeah, no, I can take it again if you want to set it up.
No, we got it. We got it on the first take. Okay, I was going to talk about the Olympics a little bit. So, not a fan. Is that what you're saying?
Hate.
Hate. So, I mean, we have talked previously about how sport, obviously not a typical interest of ours. You know, don't really spend that much time thinking or engaging with it. But at the same time, we've discussed the cultural benefits of sport, right? Having a team to barrack for, having an outlet for some of those tribal instincts is a healthy expression that keeps a social cohesion, right?
Yeah.
So
It's interesting from an anthropological point of view, kind of.
yeah,
Which is a massive boner killer to anyone who really likes sports. You know? I like sports for the anthropological aspect.
yeah, the expression
out.
of like the nationalist pride. You know, it's a very interesting like cultural conception. Yeah, I get it. I agree that the idea of dedicating your life to something that, you know, on paper is run from point A to point B as quickly as you can has a degree of absurdity to it. At the same time, if I was born with the ability to get from point A to point B really quickly and I was really good at it, I think it's like an understandable thing to pursue, right? Because with that comes a degree of endorphins, a degree of self-satisfaction, a very clear, measurable metric by which to judge your abilities. You know, if you're the kind of person that likes a rhythm or a routine, who likes to better yourself, I think that's a really obvious outlet for those kind of people.
If I had the ability to run super fast,
Yeah.
I would run away from myself.
And to be honest, everyone likes the feeling of winning, right? In any context. So if you have a thing that you are really good at and you can go do that thing and pretty reliably win at it, like, why wouldn't you? That's nice. It's fun to be good at things.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's basically, I mean, it's no absurd or silly than anything. Like football is just men kicking a ball around. Like you get all sport is kind of silly to a degree, but it's what it represents. It's like the athleticism. But like I really think that the Olympics should like introduce, like instead of like make it almost bring it closer to life. So we have all these people, you know, at the starting block, ready to run 100 meters, but then they let a lion out of the cage, and you're running from a lion like you would, you know, in the savannah.
Right.
That's interesting, and that's practical. Then I respect it.
Is it practical? I don't know how you can guarantee that the lion is going to like consistently chase people.
But that's part of the fun, and I'm watching that.
Okay.
I am watching that.
It's got a little.
I'm watching
bit
that
of
on
the
Twitter
chaos energy.
because it's
It's
not
only
podcast.
streaming on Twitter.
Yeah.
The nationalistic side of it I find interesting.
Yeah.
Because there is, despite myself, like as someone who, well, now I suppose has allegiances to two countries anyway, but
China and New Zealand.
China and Taiwan. Got to represent KC. As someone who has historically not felt a particular patriotism, I suppose, for as much as I loved Australia and from as much as I love a present tense Australia, not one that's sort of understood the need for the sort of rah-rah, particularly in like a militaristic or political context, kind of behind a national identity. I do find myself nevertheless proud of Australian achievements when it comes up in this context. Like when I look at the relative success that Australia and New Zealand has in terms of medals and golds as a very small population compared to some of the other competitors there, I'm like, yeah, fucking great job. Like, I do feel that a little bit. Do you not feel any of that kind of pride or, satisfaction from seeing that success?
You know what I felt pride in? I felt pride when I saw the video of that break dancer.
Ray
Or they
gun.
call it breaking,
Yeah.
where she was maybe trolling, I don't know, the whole idea that breakdancing was in the Olympics. That's when I felt proud. But in the medal tally, I don't give a shit.
Yeah. What about when like an individual succeeds though? Like if you see this is a very old reference, but like a Stephen Bradbury that, clinches it at the last minute, or, Kathy Freeman wins at the end of the thing. Do you not feel anything in that individual's sense either?
No. If I knew them,
Sure.
if it was my friend, I'd be like, oh, that's
Kathy
great.
did great, yeah.
But I don't know any athletes.
Sure. The breakdancing thing, I feel a bit defensive of her because I think it's
I actually don't know much
objectively-
about it. Lauren just showed me the video this morning.
Yeah.
And is there people slagging her
a
off?
lot of online takes like, this is nonsense. Like, why is this person doing this? Like,
That's
is
why
an
it's awesome.
embarrassment to the Olympics. 100%. This is your lion, chasing the sprinters, right?
Totally.
Inject a little bit of chaos into the Olympics, and I'm way more interested.
Exactly. Was she trolling?
So there's been a little bit of I have not done enough research to really understand why.
Give your opinion anyway.
Why breaking is in the Olympics, let alone what
why
it
is it
takes
called
to
breaking?
to get there. I understand that she is she won this position. She competed in the national Australian stuff and got that place and went to compete. But that the Australian style is very different to the international preferences. And that the international judges were basically like, yeah, no, that's not really anything. And she was
really?
like, this is what I'm doing. But then there's this whole other
Did you
angle.
Did you see the kangaroo hopping though?
Yeah, it is kind of amazing. But I haven't verified this. I think she has like academic credentials. Like she's done a PhD about breaking, and one of her like mottos, or like one of her hypotheses was that there shouldn't be like this hierarchy of like judging what is good or not good dancing. And
That's hilarious.
So the idea that she might turn up at the Olympics
At a
and then
competition,
deliberately know that she said this, I knew I wouldn't get any points. That she would go up on stage and do what she considered like this sort of anti-establishment dancing, just to be like, yeah, and I can fucking do this as well, is kind of the most Australian thing I've ever heard of, and I fucking love it, and I will defend it to the ends of the earth.
It's amazing. So her argument is breakdancing is an art, and you can't judge art. So this is a farce.
I'm generalizing and probably misconstruing, but yes, I'm pretty sure she's written like an academic paper about the accessibility of dance and how everyone should be able to do it and all this kind of thing. And getting up on the international stage just to be like, yeah, man, I'm going to fucking wriggle around on the ground and just do my own thing, and fuck you, I'll take 0 points and go home a hero. Like she will dine out on this
hero.
Forever, right?
It's awesome. It is brilliant.
Yeah.
Like she's my Kathy Freeman.
I respect that. It's been a few generations now, so I think it's the Australian society is ready for another national icon.
Yeah. No, she should be it.
And what a name, Ray Gun as well. Like it's just,
Is that her actual name?
well, that's not.
Well,
I don't know if she's
stage name?
born. Yeah, I don't know if she's born Ray
That's
Gun.
not her name. Oh, right. Okay.
But
yeah.
but as just like I went to who's competing for us at the Olympics? Oh yeah, Kathy Freeman and Ray Gun. It's just, I love it.
It's Miss Ray Gun.
Yeah. So Michael, did you see this headline? New Zealand athlete says being on OnlyFans pays more than double than rowing.
No, I didn't catch that one.
It's probably because I have a Google it up for OnlyFans.
Yeah.
While many athletes
Not gay rowing.
not for gay, not for rowing, just OnlyFans generically. While many athletes scrabble for sponsors to keep their Olympic dreams afloat, gay rower Robbie Manson has taken a novel approach by setting himself up on the adults-only OnlyFans website. The 34-year-old New Zealander told Reuters the revenue from the subscription-based service used for publishing adult-themed content, nice explainer of what OnlyFans is, had vastly increased his income. I get more than double what I would otherwise be on as an athlete. Read into that what you will, but I'm making more from OnlyFans than I am from rowing at this stage. I thought, if I'm going to do it, you have to tell everyone, be really open, and I think you need to feel that any publicity is good publicity. He was speaking the day before the Olympic men's double sculls final. He said he'd been inspired to create a profile on the website by Australian diver Matthew Mitchum, whose Olympic gold in the Beijing Games was the first won by an openly gay athlete. Quote, the fact that I'm gay, I have the gay following and the audience already, and I'm slightly leaning into that. I wouldn't say it's for everyone, but for other athletes, there's definitely an opportunity there. Asked what kind of content he put behind the paywall, Manson did not want to give too much away. Quote, artistic nudes. I don't want to say too much more than that. I think people need to subscribe. Why
Probably got a great back.
Probably got a great back. That's probably what it is. Mostly lat-related pictures.
Love a good back.
Michael, how much do you think an athlete should be paid, and do you support them on OnlyFans?
I don't support them on OnlyFans.
Wow, okay, homophobic. Jeez.
Yeah. Just white women, baby. I don't know what is wrong with me. What was the other question?
I asked whether you think, that it's...
Oh, how much should
how much do you think they should get paid, and do you have any thoughts on them supplementing that income with a little bit of artistic nudes on the other side?
Of course I support that. I think they should get paid $82,000 a year.
Okay. And do you have you hit that number based on anything?
No.
Okay, just vibe check.
Yeah, just what it feels right.
Yeah.
Have you been on OnlyFans? I thought OnlyFans was just like feet.
Just feet.
For some reason.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I think it's, well, I mean, to be honest, in the gay community, so much of that content is already on Instagram that I don't know why you would need to pay for it, because the Insta gays will show basically dick anyway. So I don't think that there's much need for it. I sort of get why, if you're a famous athlete, you probably want to paywall that, so it's not just your main profile that kids can go look at or whatever. But
well, if you check your chapter notes right now,
yes. We'll pop that link to
those dicks,
in there.
the Instagram dicks, in the chapter notes if you want to have a look.
I do think it's it does remind me, and I'm not conflating the two concepts, but back when we were working on the Adam and Eve show 10 years ago, the kids' afternoon talk show, we would get guests, and often we would have athletes come in, and often we would approach national team players. And for the men's, there's a full PR team behind it, and you would go through their managers, and they would have training on these days and sponsorships on that days, and can't do a thing with peanut butter because they're supported by the other brand or whatever. And there's this full infrastructure there. And then when we would approach the women's national players from netball or from the rugby sevens or whatever, it would be direct with the person involved. And it would often be, oh, she's got a shift at KFC that afternoon, but we can do something in the morning. And that's not even a joke or an exaggeration. Literally, all of the women's athletes had a second job because there was no money. They were not any way financially supported, really, in the way that the men were. And
it's their fault for being women.
That's the choice that they made, and they have to live with it. But it does seem to me that there's an obvious inequality in how money gets distributed to those athletes in those sports, because I have to imagine that the breakers are not getting the same kind of financial backing as, say, the swimming crews get.
Yeah, it doesn't. The Olympics, what do you get if you win gold? Isn't it really for winning gold you get like a gift basket or something like that?
Yeah, I don't know. How much are you paid for winning gold? This is a good article. Okay. What's the medal actually made of? This is ABC. But what's the economic payoff at the end of it all? It depends where you're from. For the most part, you win a medal, but that's it. As a result, athletes generally rely on things like sponsorship and marketing endorsements to pay the bills. Some of them strive for Olympic perfection while holding down the separate 9-to-5 job like the rest of us. What do we pay our medal winners? Like lots of countries, we don't pay our athletes for competing, we pay them for winning. Australia, via the AOC, doles out $20,000 for a gold medal, with $15,000 for silver and $10,000 for bronze. Swimmers, rowers, and volleyballers benefit further from Australia's largest private performance fund, backed by good old Gina Reinhart, which pays the same amount for medals and an extra $30,000 for world records.
On you, Gina.
Yeah. They get only one payment for their best result, and it's conditional on them continuing to train for the next Olympics. Last August, the Australian Sports Foundation released its Running on Empty report, which revealed that almost half of Australia's elite athletes earned less than $23,000 a year, enough to put them below the poverty line. Now, if you were to choose which country you'd like to compete for, let me suggest Hong Kong, which competes independently of China and offers gold medal winners $1.21 million for gold.
What?
$605,000 for silver and $320,000 for bronze. Similarly, Singapore pays gold medalists $1.18 million.
That's unethical for Hong Kong. By the way, don't call Hong Kong a country, Nick.
Well,
That's unethical. They've got poverty there. That's ridiculous.
And here's another alternative. At the Tokyo Games, Indonesian badminton gold medalists Gracia Polly and Apriyani Rahayu were reportedly promised 5 cows, a meatball restaurant, and a new house.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
The Kazakhstani $1 million. Oh, that's...
It's weird that you say that because the very next sentence is, and in Kazakhstan, gold medalists allegedly earn a swathe of cash and an apartment from the state. Anyway, so Australia relatively miserly when it comes to how much they pay out.
Yeah, better off buying a scratchy.
Yes, yeah. I mean, look, we all know that the Olympics village is just 24/7 fucking. And all these people have spent 4 years getting their bodies in the best condition of all time are just getting laid. Just endless fucking. So I don't think they need financial compensation on top of that. It's just the gigantic Olympic Village orgy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't understand why everyone was paying attention to that pole vaulter with the normal size penis.
That's very good. Yeah, it wasn't huge, but what a way to get to. I mean, it's better than gold. Like, for the world to know that you've got a nice piece.
He got offered $250,000 to do a adult 1 hour stream or something like that. Some porn company sent an offer in.
I should do it like a Calvin Klein ad. That'd be.
I guess. I mean, again, he will have plenty of offers, as you well say. The world just looked at his junk for 4 straight days.
Yeah, he should. If anyone should have an OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Should be the pole vaulter.
Yeah, there's no joke you can make here that has not been made anymore, so it doesn't. It is a losing proposition.
I just hinted at it and didn't think it through at all.
Yeah.
So I didn't. Yeah.
If you've enjoyed this podcast, that's some exciting news, and thank you so much for that. And I appreciate you, and we will pay you $15,000. If you want to find more content, you can listen to other episodes in the podcast feed. You can connect to us on Spotify. You can rate us 5 stars while you're there. Rate us on Apple Podcasts. You can send questions and comments and jokes about dentistry to deepthought@gmail.com. And look out for us on Instagram. I didn't see any pictures of Pepsi, did I?
Yeah. I'll do that. Maybe.
Yeah, throw up a little doggy pic on there. And in the meantime, just keep supporting the athletes because they need it.
Can I ask you a quick question? I'm
Please.
not even sure. This is just out of my own curiosity. Just delete this. But what alarms do you wake up to? What's your alarm situation?
What's my sitch? I set just one in the Sleep Cycle app, which I've been using now for like 14 years. So I just pop on my Rego, and I pay for premium, which means I get a random premium noise every morning because I don't like hearing the same alarm every day. I like a little bit of like variety.
Oh, well, that's actually good because you do get used to
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always sort of awake before it anyway, but I don't like having the same noise like drilled into my skull every day until I
Yes.
start to like loathe it. I made a mistake years ago where I put an instrumental piece of music I really
Yes,
liked
I've
on
done
as my
that.
alarm,
Yep.
and then it absolutely ruined it for me, and now
Yep.
it's yeah. So
Been
a bit
there.
of variety.
Yeah, no, I totally relate to that.
Yeah. Is there a particular reason? How's your schedule going?
Oh, better with Pepsi. Better
Okay.
with Pepsi. Weirdly, how's this? I had a follow up with my psych the other day, and he's put me on this prescribing this drug called clonidine, which is used in ADHD treatment sometimes for like just to help you kind of wind down because if your mind's racing and stuff, which I had expressed to him that my mind was always racing at nighttime. And so he put us in this drug. And honestly, I've been on it for like a few months. I'm like, he asked how it was going. I said, I don't think it's doing anything. But this is what I told him. I was like, but I got a puppy, and she's sleeping in the bed with us. And the last 2 weeks, I've been out like a light. Like I'm sleeping great, even though I'm getting up in the morning. You know what he said? He was like, yeah, that's a real thing. Pet therapy is a real thing. I'm like, fuck you, man. Like, don't try and take credit for this. Like, you fucking put me on drugs.
Taking credit.
Well, that's what he said. But it kind of it had that tone. He was like, oh, yeah. Like, everyone knows about this. And I was like, get out of here. Why
So
didn't
did
you
they-
recommend that in the first place?
Because I think probably, again, pets are not just for Christmas, and dogs are not
He's
just
like,
for
I can't
ADHD
prescribe puppies,
sleep
Michael.
issues.
I cannot prescribe a puppy to you.
Yeah.
Legally.
Did you tell
but
him it
it's-
was named Pepsi?
No, I didn't come up.
It's worth getting a psychologist opinion on that.
All right, I'll flick him an email. Just say, hey, just following up.
Do we need to change my dosage because I named my dog after a drink?
I can't see you anymore, Michael. The reason I was asking is 'cause Laura and I have this ongoing battle with the alarms because so I'm the same as you. I use the Sleep Cycle app. It kind of gradually, it kind of listens. It's kind of clunky app, really, isn't it? But it kind of gradually wakes you up
set
within a time frame.
You set a time, and then in an adjustable period before that, I have mine set to 15 minutes. So I think the default's 30.
Yeah.
When it
Yeah.
senses with the microphone that you've lifted out of the deepest sleep and are starting to roll around or move, it will fire off in that window so that you're jolted awake from a higher level of sleep rather than the deepest, groggiest state.
Yes, it's kind of a gentle
It's gentle.
awakening.
And I 100% believe it works. I love being woken up by that alarm.
Absolutely. You recommended it to me. I've been using it ever since and paying for it. But Lauren's a very deep sleeper, and she gets up very early during the week to go to the gym, like 5:45, and she sleeps through. It takes a lot for her to wake up, so her alarms are so loud and abrasive that it's just it gives me like I wake up with
Palpitations,
just complete stress.
Yeah.
I'm just waking up in a panic because
And at 5:40 or something, like well before you
Man.
were going to wake up.
Yeah, it's just like this. But like, I've suggested that I was like, if you set like a quiet alarm, I'll wake you up because I'll wake up at a cough.
Is she a iPhone person?
Yeah.
She should try the watch wake up. Does she have a watch?
Yes, she does. Yes, she does. And she tried that. It didn't wake her up.
Didn't wake her up. The tapping on the wrist didn't even wake her up.
No.
Gosh.
No. So that's where I'm at. So
Well,
Anyway.
I guess the solution is sleep in different rooms.
You know what? Thought about it.
Yeah, I mean, if I was being woken up at 5:45 every morning.
It's not, it doesn't feel like a great idea just before we get married, but
Yeah, I know, but
maybe
insomnia
after.
issues. Yeah, well, once the things are locked down.
yeah. How are we ending this puppy?
I've got one rec and I've got one myth. I don't know if either of those are
do I
sufficient enough.
choose?
I don't know. Well, do you have any of either?
I'd rather hear a myth than
Okay.
a wreck.
Okay, it's a very short myth, but I think we should play the jingle.
Michael's moved, annoyed, displeased, riled up, offended, aggrieved, irritated, chagrined, pissed off, put out, resentful, and peaked, discontented. Michael's moved.
And now that we've played the jingle, let me say my very short myth. So picture this. You bought yourself a luscious bag of shredded mozzarella,
Okay.
and it's coming in a resealable packet with a little Ziploc at the top.
Yep.
But it's also been factory sealed completely. And so in order to gain access to your beautiful stretchy bag of shredded mozzarella cheese, you need to cut off the top.
Delicious.
Here's my myth. When they dash the lines of where to cut, and that's not where you need to fucking cut.
Who
The
said
number
that?
the number of times
Name
where
and shame. Name and shame the brand.
Meadow Fresh.
The biggest stringers.
I'm sorry if I've thrown Meadow Fresh under the bus. The number of times that you buy a little hash line, right, and that's not actually far enough down the packet to the part where it's open, that you cut it and you try and open the bag and you haven't got far enough down to actually open a thing. But there's also this danger zone where if you cut too far, then you're in the Ziploc and you won't be able to reseal the thing. So why design a bag where you dashed lines and not where you need to cut? This is just a fatal flaw, and I won't stand for it.
No, I'm with you. Yeah, I've been there. As someone who often forgets that that's a thing and just cuts below the Ziploc
Yeah.
quite often and then
Yeah.
just does the rubber band seal.
Don't dash a
It's
whole
serious.
line to demonstrate that the idea of cutting is something you should consider, but just not where we put the line. Like that's madness. If you put the
Yeah.
line, that's where I'm going to cut it.
Yeah, what about have you ever had this where you get like a packet of lollies, right? And it's got like a tear. Actually, natural confectionery do this.
Great
They have a tear,
Great
a dot,
piggyback
a dot
myth, Michael.
to tear.
Yeah.
It's impossible to tear.
Useless.
Yeah.
I don't understand any of those. Like, I've never been satisfied with a corner tear with anything I've ever opened.
No.
If you pull too big, then the entire side of the bag's open and the whole thing falls on the ground. If you pull too small, then nothing comes out and it's
Yes.
completely useless. This is again
What
terrible
do you want me to
printing.
do?
What do you want me to
Reach
do?
in, tear it off and reach in with a pair of tweezers.
Yeah.
And pull out one.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Don't-
you have to make a seam or something.
Don't kid yourself. I agree. Don't kid yourself the idea that the little tear notch is of use to anyone. We've never successfully used it. You're forcing us to use scissors. Ugh, it just
And you
disastrous.
just get angry. You just get
it's
angry.
Classic example: bag of M&Ms.
Don't
Bag
do
of
anything.
M&Ms.
Yes. Wait, what are you saying about M&Ms? Too
They
hard to
try.
tear?
No, it's fine. It's easy to tear. It's
Yeah, no-
very easy to fuck up. You can never just
Right.
open a bag perfectly. It's too
Yes.
big or too small. We need to.
I actually I'll go a step further. I think the mention on the packet of where to cut or where to tear is patronizing. I will work it out. I'll work it out and I'll do it in my thing. Maybe I'll cut through the middle. Who gives a fuck? Don't patronize me by telling me where I need to cut.
I think that we need to accept that the best technology we had for opening a bag was the little grab flap on the back, and you just, pull the two tops of the bag aside and open it like a bag of chips, like there's the contrary motion handball, just like the left and right, pull apart, the bag opens. That's the best we've ever come up with. And all of these other inventions, they don't satisfy the basic need of easy access and easy to do. Everything else is subpar.
Yes, you've stumbled onto some real gold here, Nick.
Yeah.
How about this? The rice, like you get a packet of rice and you have to cut in the middle, and then it flaps over. That thing.
Yeah.
You have to cut this like incision.
Okay, I'll throw one back to you. How about here?
Let's go all night. Let's go all night.
I've got 50 minutes of this to get through. How about a box of couscous with the side cardboard flap?
Oh.
And you need to try and get a cardboard flap off the side to give yourself a little pouring spout. Never works. And then when you try and keep it sealed again afterwards, there's just bits of couscous everywhere.
That's a great one. Not often that I'm buying a box of couscous, though.
Well, that's because that's such a frustrating experience that you're overwhelmed with these negative feelings.
Yeah. That's why. I'd eat couscous every day.
Way more couscous.
If it came in one of those fold out packet things that you were just talking about.
I would go so far as to say, what couscous should come in? A Ziploc resealable plastic bag. You've got it backwards. It shouldn't be in a cardboard box.
Yeah. Or maybe like a Pringles cylinder.
Yeah.
That's always fun.
Yeah. Remember
Put everything in a cylinder.
Yeah. I don't know if it stacks as easily on a shelf when everything's just like a round tube. But there's a sort of appealing uniformity.
Yeah. Pringles, this is almost certainly a part of some comedian hacks routine. But I remember when I was a kid. Oh my God! I just realized what happened. I'll explain. I was about to say, when I was a kid, my hand could just fit in to the Pringles thing, and there was no issue.
Oh God!
But,
I see where this is going.
These corporations are making everything smaller. Everything smaller just to save a buck. And I was like, my hands might have been getting bigger as I got older. Could be that.
What's the deal with these corporations making all the tube diameters smaller? Now I can't get my wrists in them. Now I'm 35.
When I was 8 years old, I could just fit right in there. All right, well, stand down, Pringles. You're off the hook for now.
But this is a warning.
You've been warned, Pringles.